Hey guys, welcome back to Bohs Fan TV, and today we're back with another video. We took a bit of a week off there, obviously with no game this weekend. I thought we'd just do a video about, the season so far, particularly about how the Devine has kind of just turned things around, really changed the atmosphere, changed the mood around the place. Um, you know, compared to what we seen last season, what differences have we noticed? What steps have we taken to try and improve things? I think there's been a lot of good things that's happened. I think that's contributed to our success so far this season, which we'll get into in this video. Um, you know, like going full time, Declan Devine coming in, you know, recruitment. I think that there's a lot of things that has happened that I think has contributed to us, improving big time over the last, few months. I think we'll take it back to sort of, mid 2022. Keith Long was sacked, obviously. Um, and yeah, it was pretty divided. It wasn't a great place to be, Dalymount at the time. We weren't playing very well. There was no real clarity on what the club were trying to go for in terms of a new manager. There was a lot of names mentioned in the running to be the new manager, and then after a bit of pretty mad, not mad, but there was a lot of names mentioned after a pretty kind of hectic search. We ended up giving it to Declan Devine, who he wasn't really mentioned at all. In the early days, after we got rid of Keith Long, it sort of came as a surprise in a way. But he is someone we know had a pedigree. When he was out there, he was someone who won cups, and I had obviously, gotten Derry into Europe a good few times as well. So, you're thinking straight away you've got a winner as a manager. It's just about whether or not he can take the players and you know build towards something better, something different to what we saw in 2022. And so far I think he's definitely done that. With signings, with just overall really getting rid of some of the players that maybe just weren't good enough. Let's be honest, players that we think we signed in the summer as well. Burke and Max Murphy, and these sort of players that were brought in under Keith Long and just didn't perform. weren't really at that level. For us to want to challenge or anything. Um, and I think obviously he took over with 3 games to go. I think the performances were pretty good from what I can remember, but we didn't quite get the results. I think we got a win, a draw, and a loss, I believe, in his three, in those 3 games he took at the end of the season, which were pretty mixed. So and then you're heading into the off season, you're thinking, what's going to happen with the squad. Obviously, we know what we need. We need proper leaders. We need players that are experienced, and we need a team that we can be proud of again. And I think that's something that he'll have wanted to do as well. Look at the players that we brought in. Akintunde and Dylan Conley. Players that are good. Attacking quality. Good pedigree. And w- w- that's something that we really needed last season. And bringing back Bogo and Paddy Kirk was big as well. That was massive. We needed some proper, Dublin lads in the team. Players that had been here before. That know the club and know that what we've seen. So in 2022, wasn't good enough, and I would have wanted to come back and then try and to improve that. And I think so far they've definitely done that. And I think that's something that was huge. It was important to get good quality players in the team, players that work hard, players that were willing to commit. Because there were some players in the team last season that didn't really look ours. Let's be honest, and it was since left the club. And it was important to get players that really cared in the door and tried to build towards something positive. And now we're however many games in now, 6, 7 games in, and we've got what's five wins and a loss, I believe, or 6 wins and a loss. I'll have to go and check that. Yeah, 5 wins and a loss, and you could argue that we probably shouldn't have lost that Shells game. If Dylan Conley hadn't have got sent off, maybe it would have been a different result. But that's very good. Obviously, for, it's much better than what we were expecting anyway. And look, you can say what you want about the UCD performance as well. It probably wasn't our best performance. It was still a win, and you're getting these sort of games where um, you know, the UCD game, the Dundalk game, the Pats game as well, where we probably wouldn't have won those games last season. Where games where you had to dig deep and try and not hang on, but face difficult teams and win the game, and that's what we're doing. We're playing good teams and we're winning. And hopefully that continues. We look at what the Vines brought in so far. Going full time was huge. I think that it's something that we should have done earlier. Maybe we didn't have the kind of money for, or maybe there were certain staff members and players that maybe were doing other things, like had other jobs in the day, and I don't think it really suited them to train at night. But I think you're gonna get better players. You're gonna attract better players by playing or by training in the day, and I think that's something that had to be done, and we've done it, and I think it has had a good impact on the team. Excuse me. From what I've heard anyway, that they're in there. They go in the morning, they have their breakfast, they're training there, they have their lunch in the afternoon, then they're leaving. Obviously, they're not training, that long. I think I heard something. It's they're training about 40 hours a week now compared to, I think it was only a few hours a week. Um, before we went full time, and that's obviously had a huge impact. That's you're gonna get, you're gonna be able to attract a better style of player. The squad will get better from it as well. Training more often, and I think that's another, that's a big step we took to try and get up the league and try and compete again. Another thing is, I think the Vines brought a good mentality to the team. He signed the right players. Like I mentioned, players that know the club already, like Bucko and Paddy Kirk, and players coming back from England like Connolly, who coming back home. Don't know what it takes to play in the league. Afalabi obviously he wasn't a new signing as such, but he came back from injury and he's taken, he's in the team now and he's flying. Um, and I think that was obviously something that was very important, was that we brought in the right players, and I think we done that. Credit to Devine, with recruitment. You know, players like Adam McDonald, he was someone who didn't particularly not maybe perform to the best of his ability as Sligo, but he's come in and he was nominated for Player of the Month for February. I think he deserves it. He's looked fantastic. He works so hard. He covers every blade of grass. Same with Ali Coote. He's a player who I think a lot of people would expect to leave the club. It looked like his career at Bohs was over. When Derek Pender was the interim, he was looking fairly certain that he was going to be, heading out the door and leaving the club. But obviously Devine must have had a word with him and said, look, I know how good of a player you are. We know how much you can offer to the team, and he's stayed and he's been flying. He's probably arguably been our best player this season. Credit to him. In the UCD game, he missed the penalty, which was a shocking penalty. Let's be honest. I don't know how he missed it by that much. Um, and he redeemed himself in the second half by getting the winning goal in the end. And I think that's something that we know he can do. We know how good of a player he is. He just didn't quite show it enough last season. And I don't want to sit here too much and bash Keith now, because obviously he did a really good job for the club. But I think it was probably the right decision to sack him in the end when you look at how how we've built so far under Devine, with the recruitment and just the all around, mood around the club is improved by just, getting the right kind of players in the door, switching to full time, the Vines come in and really brought into the culture of the club, and that's super important. When a new manager comes in, is that they buy into what the club is all about, and I think the Vines just, he's done just that, and look, who knows what we can achieve this season. It's obviously going to be tough for the top of the league. 5 wins and a loss in our first six. You can't complain really. It's been tough at times, um, particularly in that Shells game, which is a game I don't think we should have lost. With 11 men on the pitch, I think it would have been a different result. But there's been games where he played really well. I think the Drogheda game, the Dundalk game, the Pats game, wins that we wouldn't have got last season. Let's be honest, and we've improved so much in such a short space of time. And hopefully it can continue. But there's some tough games coming up. Obviously, we've got Sligo now coming up next Saturday. Away from home, it's a tough game. Then we've got a Dublin derby. Then we got another big game up in Derry. After that on a Monday night. So they're three huge games. If we can get, I don't know, try and kind of set a target. Anything is a plus, I suppose. A point, 3 points. Just to try and continue that bit of consistency we have going. We can go up to Sligo and get a win. Play against Rovers at Dalymount. Get another win and get maybe a draw up in Derry. We'll be laughing. If that some might see that as as wishful thinking, but with the form we're in at the minute, the form that those teams are in as well. I think Sligo are, I think they've have surprised a few people. They're not doing too bad, but Rovers certainly haven't got off to a flying start. Derry look like they're going to be the ones to be so far. If they are going to push on, Rovers I suppose will probably end up picking up form, soon enough. But I think it's just all about being consistent and looking forward to the fixtures and taking it game by game and just yeah, it's just about being consistent and we have the players to do it, no doubt. There's good squad depth there. I think that's an issue that we experienced throughout the years previous that maybe we didn't have the squad depth to go all the way and compete. In seasons past where in 2020, 2019, where it looked like we might push for a title, on and off a little bit, but maybe we just didn't have the squad depth. This year I think we do have the squad depth. It's just about being consistent and getting the points on the board, and so far we've done that, and we need to continue what we're doing. Look, Devine has it's really changed the atmosphere. This is what this video is all about. It's about how we've improved since Keith Long's sack, and Devine being sort of a left field candidate and coming in and recruiting well, getting players out the door that weren't good enough. You know, adopting a good sort of play, attacking, but we work hard, we fight for every ball, and I think that's something that we want to see. Um, so yeah, long may it continue, long may we can, long may we pick up points and try and climb up the table and stay on top for as long as possible because you never know. Come November, we might be lifting that trophy. So look, let's see what happens. Anyway, that's where I'm end the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment down below what you're thinking so far under Divine, what you're thinking heading into Sligo. Obviously, we'll do a preview for that during the week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.